My dad never cared about us. Years later, Karma reminded him what family really means. Growing up, my dad treated our house like a motel he hated but refused to stop using. He never helped with homework, never came to school events, never said I'm proud of you. But he always had energy for gambling, drinking, and disappearing for days. Mom worked 2 jobs while he burned paychecks on anything that didn't involve us. When I was 14, he just left. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. The only time we heard from him was when he needed something. Money, a place to crash, bail. Every time, Mom said no. I learned to do the same. Fast forward 12 years. I'm married, stable, and actually happy. Then one morning I get a message from an unknown number. This is your father. I need help. I ignored it. Then came another. It's serious. Please. Curiosity dragged me to meet him at a small diner. He looked older than he should have, pale, frail, worn out. He told me he'd burned every bridge, every friendship, every job. His health was failing and he had nowhere left to go. He said he regretted everything. He said he wished he'd been a better father. He said he needed me. And for the first time in my life, I felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, just emptiness. I paid for his meal, stood up, and said, "You taught me what family isn't. I'm not repeating your lessons." He begged me to stay. But I walked out. Later, I found out from a relative that he tried calling every person he'd ever used, everyone said no. He ended up in a state-run shelter, the same kind he used to mock when Mom donated canned food. Karma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, "This is what you built." And he finally had to live in it.
I've always hated the attic in this house. Even before I moved in, the realtor joked, previous owners said it made noises. I laughed it off. I shouldn't have. The first night, I heard footsteps above my bedroom. Slow. Dragging. Too heavy to be mice, too steady to be pipes. I told myself old houses settle. But houses don't pace. By the 4th night, the steps stopped directly above me. I froze in bed, holding my breath. That's when I heard it, a low whisper, like someone struggling to speak through dust. "Are you in my room?" I nearly bolted into the hallway, but fear glued me down. The whisper came again, closer, clearer, right behind the ceiling boards. "Get out of my room." I stayed awake till sunrise, then grabbed a flashlight and climbed the attic stairs, trembling. It was cold as a freezer, and the air smelled like old wood and something rotten. In the center of the attic floor, the dust wasn't disturbed, except for footprints. Big, bare footprints circling endlessly, like someone had been walking in tight loops. But they weren't fresh. They were deep, old, pressed into the boards like the wood had softened under them. I backed away, and that's when I noticed something scratched into the wall. A message, carved with frantic, uneven strokes. "Stop sleeping in my bed." Confused, I aimed the flashlight back at the footprints, and froze. There were new ones forming. Right in front of me. One. Then another. Then another, coming straight toward me, boards bending under invisible weight. The whisper slid across the attic, inches from my ear. "I wasn't talking to you." I dropped the flashlight and scrambled down the steps. As I slammed the attic door, something heavy hit it from the other side. Once. Twice. Then a child's voice, small and furious, screamed. I said, "Get out of my room." I don't go upstairs anymore. But at night, the footsteps come down instead.
My wife cheated on me with my brother and my family celebrated it until. I always thought betrayal would come with warning signs, hushed calls, late nights, guilt in someone's eyes. Turns out, it came in laughter. My family's laughter. I'd been married to Emily for 5 years. My older brother, Tyler, was the family golden boy, louder, flashier, the kind everyone gravitated toward. I never imagined the two of them would gravitate toward each other. I found out on a Sunday. I'd come home early from a work trip, still smelling like airport coffee. I walked into the living room and saw them curled up together, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Emily froze. Tyler didn't even bother to stand. What hurt more than the cheating was what came after. My family celebrated it. My mother called it meant to be. My father said, at least she picked someone in the family. They held a barbecue 2 weeks later, an actual barbecue where they toasted Tyler and Emily like they were some twisted love story and not the reason my life had detonated. I sat alone outside the fence, listening to them clink glasses while pretending I hadn't existed in the middle of it. The day the world quietly hugged me back. I never used to believe in quiet miracles. I thought life only changed in big, dramatic waves, the kind that knock you over and leave you gasping. But it turns out some of the gentlest shifts happen on the days you expect absolutely nothing. It was a Tuesday. The kind of Tuesday that feels like a smudge between Monday's chaos and Wednesday's promises. I was dragging myself through the motions, work, chores, the usual mental negotiations with my alarm clock, when my neighbor's kid, Ellie, stopped me in the hallway. She held out this crooked little paper flower. "Mom said you've looked sad lately," she said. "This is for you." It was glittered, misshapen, probably taped together 3 times, but somehow it hit harder than any polished kind gesture I'd ever received. I thanked her, tucked it in my bag, and tried to pretend my throat wasn't tightening. Later that afternoon, my coworkers invited me to lunch, something they never do because I'm the quiet one who blends into beige office walls. But they said they just felt like it today. No reason. Just intuition, I guess. Then, on my way home, I found a sticky note on my door. "Thanks for always helping carry our groceries. We notice it. Apt 3B. Nothing extraordinary. Nothing grand. But it stacked, little warmths piling one after another until my chest felt too full." That night, I placed the crooked paper flower on my desk and realized something I'd never let myself admit. I'd been walking around convinced the world wasn't holding space for me. But maybe it was. Maybe it always had been. I was just too busy bracing for storms to notice the soft sunlight sneaking in. I didn't win the lottery.
Congratulations, you've been officially hired as the night guard at Black Hollow Archives, with a starting salary of $38.50 per hour, plus an additional $100 hazard bonus for every completed shift. Before you begin, you must understand the rules. They are not for order, they are for protection. Rule 1. Arrive exactly at 12 a.m. Early or late arrival may result in the building assuming you're not the guard. If someone is waiting outside and calls your name, ignore them, they're not on payroll. Rule 2. When entering, say aloud, "I am here to watch, not to join." This lets the archive know you're a visitor, not a resident. Rule 3. Check all cameras every 10 minutes. If camera 4 shows someone standing too close to the lens, flip to another feed and do not return to it until the next cycle. Rule 4. You will hear footsteps behind you during patrols. Do not turn around. The archive gets curious, not violent unless acknowledged. Rule 5. The phone will ring at 2:47 a.m. Answer only if the caller breathes softly. If they speak, hang up. Speaking back gives them permission to enter the control room. Rule 6. If any document prints on its own, do not read it out loud. Reading makes it real. Simply file it under unexplained and move on. Rule 7. Before leaving at 7 a.m., look into the control room mirror. If your reflection blinks more than you do, stay inside until sunrise hits it. Only one version of you is allowed to leave. Welcome to the team, and remember, the building listens.